I was born in the city of North England in year 1632. My father, now very old, had given me a fairly good education at the local school. He wanted me to become a lawyer, but I was determined to go to sea. My mother and other friends tried hard to persuade me that it was not a good idea, but I would not listen. Father said it was unnecessary for me to go out into the world to earn my own living. It would only bring me unhappiness. I was sad that I could not please my father, and to avoid more arguments, I decided to run away from home at the first opportunity. My chance came one day at Hull. One of my friends was going by sea in London in his father's ship. He suggested that I should go too, and as I was his friend, I need to pay. So, without telling anyone, on the 1st of September 1651, I went on board a ship which would take me to London. It was a terrible journey. From the start, the wind blew fiercely, and the waves rose in a most frightened manner. I had never been to sea before. I was dreadfully seasick. I began to wish that I had stayed at home. The ship did not reach London. It started to sink, and we had to row to land in a small boat. I had a little money in my pocket and traveled to London by road. At this time, I was still wondering whether I should go home or not. But then I met the captain of a ship. He had been to Guinea and he offered to take me there. My mind was made up. I would not return to my family. The voyage we made was the only one which was successful in all my adventures. The captain was a good friend to me. He taught me mathematics and the rules of navigation. I learned how to keep an account of the ship's course and how to find my options on a map by looking at the sun. He enjoyed teaching me all that a sailor should know. This voyage made me both a sailor and a merchant, for I bought back 5 pounds and 9 ounces of gold dust from Guinea. I sold the gold in London for almost $300. This I told myself was the way in which I would make my fortune. My friend the captain died soon after our arrival home. I wanted to make the same voyage again, so I sailed on the same ship with a new captain. It was another unlucky voyage for me. Our ship was near the Canary Island when we saw a pirate ship following us. The sea robbers put up all the sails they could not chase us. We too raised all the sails our masts could carry in order to escape. But the other ship was getting closer, so we prepared to fight. Our ship had 12 guns and the pirate 18. About the o'clock in the afternoon, the pirates came closer to us. We were able to use 8 of our guns to fire at them, and they had to sail away. However, they did shoot at us, but none of our men were wounded, for they all kept out of the line of fire. The pirates then prepared to attack us again. This time the pirate ship was brought alongside ours, and 60 of the crew jumped down onto our decks. They at once began to cut down our sails and the ropes that held them. Making our ship helpless, we attacked them with all the weapons we had and cleared them off our decks twice. But they were too strong for us. 3 of our men were killed and 8 wounded, and we had surrendered. We were all taken prisoner by the pirates who returned with us to Sally, a port belonging to the Moors. When we reached the shore, my friends were taken to the emperor's place, but I was kept by the captain of the pirate ship as his personal slave. He was quite kind to me and took me fishing with him. He had fitted one of the boats of our English ship with a compass and a small cabin. He never went out fishing without enough food for several days at sea. In case there should be fog and it would be difficult to reach the shore, it was in this boat that I was able to escape. 2 years later, after my adventure on the coast of North Africa, I was rescued by a Portuguese ship on its way to Brazil. I made friends with a Portuguese captain. I can never be grateful enough to him. It was through his kindness and help that I was able to become a sugar planter in Brazil. After a few years, I became a wealthy man. I had not only learned the language but had made many friends among the other planters. I often told them about my two voyages to the coast of Guinea. I described the trade carried on with the Negroes there and how easy it was to buy gold dust and ivory in exchange of toys, knives, scissors, axes, and glass beads. It was also possible to buy Negroes to work on the sugar plantations in Brazil. They always listened very carefully when I spoke about the buying of Negroes. At that time, the trade in Negro slaves was not very large. It was allowed only with the permission of the kings of Spain and Portugal, and all the money went to their countries. Only a few Negroes were bought, and this cost a great deal of money. One day, when I was talking to some planters whom I knew well, they told me of a plan they had made. It was highly secret, and I had to promise to tell one about it. They had got ready a ship to tell no one about it. They had got ready a ship to go the Konya coast. Like me, they all had plantations and had difficulty in getting workers. The trade in Negro slaves could not be carried on openly, and if they bought them back, they could not sell them in public. So they wanted to make just one voyage and to land the Negroes secretly. They would then divide the Negroes among themselves for their own plantations. The question was whether I would go to the Guinea coast and be responsible for the trading part of the voyage. If I agreed, I would have my share of the Negroes without having to pay any of the expenses of the voyage. I must admit this was a fair offer, but for me to think of such a voyage was very stupid. However, I was foolish and agreed to their plan. So the ship was made ready and the cargo put on board. I went on to the ship on the 1st of September 1659. Our ship was about 120 tons, carried 6 guns and 14 men besides the captain, his boy, and myself. We had not much cargo except goods that were suitable for our trade with the Negroes. Beads, bits of glass, shells, small mirrors, knives, scissors, axes, and other small things.